Selena, nice to meet you. What do you do? I'm a business coach. Or, hey Selena, nice to meet you. What do you do? Well, you know those beautiful soul-based women who are really self-aware and are growing gorgeous businesses to help others, but they get really stuck? They've read all the books, done all the courses, but for some reason they're just not making the revenue they wanted. You do? Well, I am the person who steps in and helps them overcome those barriers. I help them, coach them to join the dots and remove the blocks in their business so they can move forward and build the business of their dreams. You do? Which one made you lean in more? Would you like to know how to do that? Welcome to Inner Business, the podcast that delves deep into the soul of entrepreneurship. My name is Selena Woodward, seasoned business owner, qualified business coach, and intuitive guide. I'm going to offer you actionable steps to increase your revenue whilst we explore how you are showing up in your business. Let's explore the blocks and connect the dots on your journey to business fulfillment. Hi there, and welcome to another episode of Inner Business. My name is Selena Woodward, the business coach who asks you to think about what your business is trying to teach you. Welcome back to the third episode in our mini-series on the subject of StoryBrand and marketing. We are working through a process of ensuring that our marketing copy and narrative aligns beautifully with our customers and calls them in. So hopefully last episode you listened to our reflection and were able to make a lot of beautiful notes about who your customer is and what they want. If not, do not fear. It is not too late to head back to episode 6. Just head to selenawoodward.com/006 and dive in there with me. We will talk about why the customer is so important in your marketing and why your customer is the hero, not you. If you've been watching me on Instagram, you'll have seen me having lots of fun with a cape in my reels. What did you think? I do own that cape, of course. Now, I'm going to make sure that you give that hero's cape back to your customer in this episode. So keep listening if you're curious as to how we dive deeply into the problem that your customer has so that you can then step into the position of the guide and offer a solution that meets their needs. Remembering how important it is not to dive straight into what you do without first honoring what your customer is going through, what they're feeling, and what they need. In short, we're going to hold space for your customer in our marketing narrative, and I'm going to show you how to do that today. Are you ready? Let me show you something first of all. If someone asks you, what do you normally respond with the thing that you do or the product you have, the service that you have? So if someone was to say to me, hey, Selena, tell me, what do you do? I could respond with, yes, I'm a business coach. And usually the response I get is, oh, that's nice. Or I could invite the person who's just asked that question into a story. So I would really rather say something like, hey, Selena, what do you do? Wow, you know those beautiful soul-led, self-aware women who are building gorgeous businesses to help other people? Oh, yeah. Well, often they get to a point where they feel like they're not quite making as much money as they want, or there's not enough profit in what they're doing, and they start to feel quite overwhelmed by business generally. Now, they usually go and buy a load of books and do a load of courses, but they feel really stuck and they'll be like, oh yeah, I know someone like that. Yeah, well, that's where I step in. I'm a business coach and I walk alongside those women and help them to see what they can't see, to join the dots and remove any business blocks in their way. And I'm a Business Made Simple certified coach. So I have all these tools and techniques to help them, but I'm also an intuitive guide. So I channel and I support them spiritually on that journey too. Now, which one is going to invite you into a conversation Is it the first one, I'm a business coach, or is it the second one, where I started by responding with my customer and their problem, not with who I am? I was able to position myself as the guide in that short narrative, but I didn't start with myself as the expert. I started with my customer's problem. And my challenge to you this episode is to give this a go. By the end of today's episode, you should have enough to at least frame the beginning of that, where you talk about who your customer is, what they're struggling with, how it makes them feel, and begin to talk about how you can help them. So that is the whole point of today's episode. We're really going to dive deep into that. What did you think of that? Comment below. Do you think that's compelling? Are you keen? Remember that when someone comes looking for a solution, it's because they have a problem. So when they Google for you, when they ask around for some support, they don't necessarily know that they're looking for a Hara massage therapist. They don't necessarily know that they're looking for your particular counseling style. They just know they have this problem. And they're going to Google, how do I do X? Support with Y. And so if you start with the problem, you are definitely going to come up more often in the search results, and your customer is definitely going to see themselves when they read the story back on your copy, in your emails, on your leaflets, on your website. So, last episode, we worked out who your customer was. In my story, that is soul-based entrepreneurs who are very self-aware. Who is your customer? Have you got that? Comment below if you have, or just make a note of it. If not, remember, head back to selenawoodward.com/006 and go through last week's episode until you do. Once we know who our customer is and what they want, in my case, increased revenue, then we can start to dive into their problem a little more and make it a little more juicy. If you think about any movie or novel or TV show that goes viral, it always starts by introducing the main customer and where they're at, their setting. English teacher alert. So, main customer is a business owner, where they're at, they're feeling like they're struggling to get the revenue that they want. Okay? But then we need something to happen. We need a story gap, a reason for them to step forward and make a decision to change that. There are plenty of people out there running retreats that have no profit. There are plenty of people out there hiring a space to run massage and not getting their customers. At some point, there is a decision that gets to be made. Do I get the support that I need to solve this problem? Or do I walk away? Or do I lose the rent on this place and I can't afford to run my massage business? There's going to be a crunchy, very uncomfortable moment. And we need to tune into that. We need to know what the inciting incident is. So if we think about maybe, Frozen, Disney's Frozen, most of us have watched that many, many times. And we think about Elsa. Elsa's always had the magical powers. She's always been very powerful and strong, but she's been taught to hide that. She's very embarrassed by who she is. The main story of Frozen for Elsa is about stepping into her sovereign power and learning to love herself and use all that gorgeous energy to solve a problem. Elsa? But until her parents die in an awful shipwreck, good old Disney, there is no reason for her to shift that. So there is a moment in her narrative where she has to choose to get out of the discomfort and take a step forward. And we need to take our customers on that journey too. That's why in my description, I talked about how many of my clients will have read lots and lots of books, and they may even have paid lots of money for courses, but it's not made a difference. And now they're hitting that crunchy spot where they're like, do I really need to continue this way? Something has to change. And again, if you don't know what the problem is or what the thing is that has to change, how are you supposed to align with your customer and be the guide, be the person that helps them? Really important work. This is about 90% of the important process you need to go through to align with your customer and offer them what they need. So in the StoryBrand framework, when we're talking about our customers' problems, there are 3 lenses that we use. The first problem, or the first lens in the problem, is the external problem. And that is this thing that we're talking about. It's a tangible moment, a tangible thing that they must overcome if they're going to be a success, if they're going to achieve whatever it is they want. What is it that is stopping them getting where they want to go? What is the tangible thing that you can talk about with them, that they can relate to, that is their external problem? The bomb on the bus in Speed.
There's a bomb on a bus.
The kingdom being under threat and Elsa having to step up, otherwise she's not sure she's going to be able to protect everybody in Frozen. Elsa! What is it that your customer has to do? My marriage is at risk. I need to step up and get some therapy. My mom was really disappointed last Mother's Day, and I could see the look in her eyes. I don't want to feel that disappointment and shame again. Oh, wait a minute. Can you see what we did here? We moved into the second one. The second lens that we look through when we look at a problem is emotions. How does that external problem make them feel? And we do need to spend a bit of time there. And it's not good. It doesn't feel good often when there's a problem we can't overcome. We need to dive deeply into that. And the third and final one is the philosophical problem. Why is all of this just plain wrong? You are the hero. You need to call them to action a little bit. We've talked to the problem and why they can't get over it. That's kind of heavy. We've talked to how it feels. That's very heavy. Now we need to say, oh my goodness, that's just not okay with me. And we're going to start to shift the energy. So for example, in my last business, Edufolios, I told you that I started by creating copy that was all about Edufolios. It's a piece of software, it has all these features, and it will do this, this, and this, and this. And I think I sold 9 in a year. Woohoo! My first year. And I grew that to a 6-figure business. And I did that through this process. Because instead of focusing on what Edufolios did and who I was, I started focusing on my customer, what their problem was, how that made them feel, and why that was just plain wrong. Then I introduced them to the guide, Edufolios, a software platform that helped them overcome all of that. So that looked a little bit like this. In Edufolios, the external problem for my teachers, who were my main customer, was the teaching standards. So the teaching standards that they get measured against and they have to complete paperwork against. That was the external problem. It made them feel all sorts of things. First and foremost, overwhelmed because it's more paperwork. Secondly, resentful because it's paperwork and it was taking them away from their kids in their mind. Thirdly, they were feeling very judged by that process. It was a very vulnerable thing to do, particularly if you haven't been assessed in your teaching for years and now you've got to prove yourself again. So you can hear all these really uncomfortable emotions. I got into all of that with my customers. And then why is that plain wrong? Well, the teaching standards were never supposed to be a thing to beat teachers with. They were supposed to be a tool that we could use to improve our teaching practice and the outcomes of our students. And that's actually what we care about, is the outcomes of our students. So it's just plain wrong that you feel this way about the teaching standards. Here's a piece of software that will let you just talk about what you do every day in the classroom and will help you see how you're already meeting the standards. Sigh of relief. Can you see the difference? One is I've got this tool and this is what it does. And the other is I see you. I understand how you feel. It's just totally wrong. Here's what we can do for you. Totally different vibe. That's what we want to do with your messaging and your copy. So have a think. What is the tangible problem that your customer is facing? And this can be really interesting if you are selling a product like candles or flowers or books. Don't think about the candle, the flower, and the book. Think about the problems that these things solve. So flowers can be a message of love. We can go with a specific moment like Mother's Day campaign, or we can go generically and talk about how flowers are ways to communicate with those that we love. They are a way to treat ourselves and show love to ourselves. Candles are a beautiful, luxurious item that we can use to signal the end of a work day and just a moment of calm. For me, I use candles a lot in meditation and manifestation. Is that what your candles are for? They are not a candle. They hold the power to unlock a problem for your customer. What is the problem? Is it that they are overwhelmed and can't switch off after work? Is it that they need to have some self-love, or they want to show love and appreciation for somebody else? Make a list of what you think your customer's main problem is. And it must be tangible. It can't be something like, we're going to empower educators. Do you remember? Doesn't work. You need to have a tangible thing. Empowering educators is very vague, but giving them the tools to turn the teaching standards into something that supports their practice and helps them improve as educators, that's empowering them, right? But now I've really laid it out on the table. It means something tangible. It means something that will help them survive or even thrive in their workplace. Now their brain is tuning in. Huge difference. Give that a go. Feel free to practice in the comments and share what it is that you do, who your customer is, and what you think their main tangible problem is. Put it in the comments. We can all help each other out. If you're watching this over on YouTube, type away. Let's see what you've put. And in fact, I think if you are now listening on Spotify, you can also comment. I think that's new and exciting. Okay, once you've done that, the second lens is how that makes them feel. And like I said, with Edufolios, I could start with overwhelmed, but the more I delved into that with my customers, there was a whole heap of stuff coming up for them. Just as your business likes to bring a whole heap of stuff for you, so does this problem. So, coming home from work and not being able to switch off, what does that mean for your customers' emotions? How are they feeling? Are they feeling tired and exhausted and in need of a break? Are they feeling resentful of the fact they can't switch off? What is it that they are feeling? Now, if you struggle to connect with emotions, couple of book recommendations. One is Brené Brown's Atlas of the Heart. That's a great read. Lots of stuff in there about emotional intelligence. The second one is Mark Brackett's Permission to Feel. And more importantly, in this case, for a quick win, his app, The Mood Meter. Just Google that. I'll also put links to these items over at selenawoodward.com/007, where you'll find today's show notes. Really dive in. Don't stick to happy, sad, angry. Find the words that really describe how your customers are feeling. We need to show them the reason that they need to step forward. Because the third and final thing is that philosophical reason why this is just plain wrong. Teachers, you deserve to focus on your kids and have the teaching standards reflect back to you what you have to celebrate and where all your opportunities for growth are. We don't want you to feel judged. We don't want you to feel overwhelmed. We want those standards to work harder than you do to help you be the best teacher you can be. Messaging every time. Why is it plain wrong? You can start with phrases like, you deserve. This is wrong because. Yeah, why is it wrong? You deserve this. You deserve to be able to switch off after a busy day. Your family deserves to have you back, calm and present with your cup filled and ready to receive more love and give more love than you ever have before. Making this up now. All right, what is it that is just plain wrong about this situation? On Mother's Day, your mom deserves to feel loved and respected, and you deserve to be able to grab the best bunch of flowers possible at a great price last minute because you're really busy. We see you, we get you. Come over to Seasonal Bunch and grab one of our beautiful handcrafted bunches without having to pre-order. Done. Okay, so what is it that is philosophically just plain wrong? You deserve what? Okay, then you see you can launch into how you as the hero are going to step up and help solve those problems. But if you start by stepping up and telling everybody how you're going to solve problems, you run the risk of making yourself the hero, which is the character who needs the help. And that definitely lowers you in the eyes of your customer. And they're not listening because they don't see themselves in your story. Remember to lean in, get them to lean in. So now you've got the gold. You've got the problem through the lens of the really clear, tangible, external issue, the internal, how that makes them feel, and why this is just plain wrong. So we can start turning the energy up to a bit more uplifting, kind of, yeah, let's go energy. Now you can start writing your version of what you do as the guide. So you don't have to say, I'm a business coach, I'm a counselor, I'm a therapist, I'm a fertility specialist, I'm a candle maker, I'm a florist. You can start talking about your customers. Practice it. Give it a go in your social media this week and see what happens. Start playing with putting your customer first, and make sure you come back on this video and comment. Share with us those posts. Share with us the results that you get, because I guarantee people will begin to lean in rather than lean away, thinking you're being a pushy salesperson. And next week on the Inner Business podcast, we're going to step into the guide mode. So now that we're really clear about our customer's problem, we've held space for them, we're going to push that up in our messaging. Now, and only now, can you start to position yourself, your products, and your services as the solution for all of those things. So tune in next week as we start to go on that journey together. How are you finding this? Do let me know in the comments. I love this process. As you can see, I just get all lit up. And as you go through this, if you're really starting to feel warm and fuzzy inside, it's because you are actually looking at the difference that you make in the world. You are not just seeing yourself anymore as the florist and the therapist. You're seeing yourself, oh, I'm getting tingles, as the person who helps these beautiful souls. And there is such potent, powerful energy in that you deserve to feel too. Oh, it's so good. It's juicy. That is why you're here. If you ever need a reminder, look at what these beautiful souls are going to overcome with your help and support. And just, lean into that. It's juicy and delicious. Now, I have 2 requests from you this week. We're now on episode 7 of the Inner Business podcast, and I would really love to start seeing some reviews coming in. Reviews on the podcast help the podcast bees and buzzies to share this episode with others. And that's what I would like to do now. I would like to get a little bit more reach. So I would like you to either share this episode with someone else who needs to hear it, and or subscribe to this podcast either on YouTube, on Apple, wherever you're listening to. Make sure you've hit the subscribe button so that I turn up every week, and then you'll get the next episode without even having to try. Oh, so glorious. Thank you once again for spending time with me today. The show notes for today's episode will be at selenawoodward.com/007. That's SelenaWoodward.com/007. Let me know how you go, and I will see you this time next week on the Inner Business podcast. Take care.